Hello everyone, welcome to another video. I hope that you are very, very well. And today, romance is in the air. Valentine's Day is coming up this week. And I was thinking of the different Valentine's themed videos I could do. And I've been doing a lot of Jane Austen themed reading lately. And I thought, why don't we tier rank all of the love interests in Jane Austen books. I've got my Jane Austen mug out of the cupboard ready, especially for this video. I've been wanting to make this video for ages. It has been in my list of draft ideas for so long. So I'm very excited that we are actually here and just going to be discussing some fictional men from the past. Woo! As you can just see in the corner, there we go, Mackie is here as well. She's just chilling, just vibing, but that's who that is, down there. First of all, we obviously have to go through the different categories. So at the very top, and I don't think there'll be any surprises as to who ends up in this category, at the very top is the swoon category, the most romantic of Jane Austen's men who have the beautiful speeches and letters, the ones that we all swoon over. That's all I can describe this category as. The second category is green flags abound. This is someone who just has loads of green flags. They may not be swoon-worthy, get your heart racing romantic hero, but there's green flags everywhere. They're still a wonderful, wonderful person. The middle category is, at least he's rich. He's fine. He's fine. There's not much to say pro or against, but he is rich, which, to be fair, in Jane Austen times especially, was very important, as we know. And I've just finished reading Jane Austen at Home by Lucy Worsley, and she really hammers this point home that the romance in Jane Austen books is in fact secondary to financial stability. So this is a very good tier to be in for a Jane Austen hero. The fourth category is red flags everywhere. We're just in a sea of red flags. Again, I don't think there'll be many surprises as to who ends up in this category. And the final category, and I just put this at the bottom, I don't think these are the worst men in this list, but this is the he's literally your cousin category. Yeah, say no more. We're going to go in published order of the books. So first up is Sense and Sensibility. And I thought we would start with the man who swoops in to save the day, Colonel Brandon, who may not be your typical romantic hero, but has so many good qualities, including money, but he's got more than just money. And he has that quiet romanticism to him. So I'm going to put him in green flags abound. I think this is a green flag man through and through. Moving on from Marianne's endgame to Eleanor's, Edward Ferrars. And I have some thoughts about Edward Ferrars, I'm going to be honest. I am not sold on his character. Well, no, he's a great character in terms of his function in the book. I think Eleanor could have done better. Not like someone else in the book. I just think, he was engaged to someone else when they met. And I think that is a teeny tiny red flag, maybe more than a tiny red flag. I'm going to put him in, at least he's rich. Because he's not rich, but he's rich enough. And that's what matters in a Jane Austen book, at least. Yeah, I'm very conflicted about the character of Edward Ferrars, I'm going to be honest. So yeah, he's a mid-tier Jane Austen love interest. Bless you. And then the final love interest, the initial love interest for Marianne, is the dastardly Willoughby, who of course is going straight into red flags everywhere. This man is a walking red flag. I think, well, I don't know what to say who's better or worse than Wickham. They're both terrible. So those are our three love interests from Sense and Sensibility. Moving on now to Pride and Prejudice. I think this will be the least unexpected of all of them. Mr. Darcy, let's start with Mr. Darcy, obviously. Straight into the swoon category. There's a reason he's the archetype for a romantic hero. He's awkward, he's fumbling, he gets things wrong, he's so painfully introverted, and I maybe grew up and realised that I'm more of a Mr. Darcy than I am a Lizzie Bennet. But he is so passionate and he loves so much, not just romantic love, but he loves his sister, he cares for people, of course he's going straight into the swoon category. Hello! And then Mr. Darcy's best friend, Mr. Bingley, to be honest, I was conflicted about where to put him, because he is a pushover, let's be real. And he is very rich, which is the main draw in many ways. But I think he just about ekes into the green flag category, because by the end of the book, he has grown a backbone and he has actually been able to pursue what he wants and not what other people around him tell him he wants. And I think being able to grow and develop as a person, that is a strong green flag. So he gets to go into the green flag zone. So we've had Mr. Darcy, we've had Mr. Bingley. Who else comes around? Mr. Collins. He is their cousin. He's their cousin. And to be honest, the reason we have this cousin category is because Mr. Collins defies categorization of all kinds. So he can just go into he's literally your cousin category, which I think says it all. And then, of course, we have Mr. Wickham, who straight in there next to Willoughby on the red flags everywhere. This man is a gold digger and he does not care who he hurts in the process. Straight into the red flag zone. The next book that Jane Austen published was Mansfield Park, which I don't think this is a very controversial opinion. It's my least favourite Jane Austen book. I think it's got a lot of good things going for it. It doesn't stand out in the way some of the others do. But there are a couple of love interests for Fanny Price, and so we'll rank them. We'll go through them. First of all, Edward Bertram is her cousin. Again, I feel like he's a very beige flag man, so the cousin category will do for him. And then Henry Crawford, again, red flags everywhere, as far as the eye can see. Maybe not as many, actually, as Willoughby and Wickham. I think he has fewer red flags than they do. But he still goes straight in there. So the final book that was published in Jane Austen's lifetime, which I think is now tied with Pride and Prejudice for my favourite, is, of course, Emma. Oh, I love Emma so much. And there are so many just brilliant characters in this book, which means so many men to rank. Let's start at the bottom of the barrel with Mr. Elton, who of course is going straight into the red flag category. Again, not as bad as Willoughby or Mr. Wickham, but still pretty bad. Mr. Elton is one of those characters you just like less and less and less as the story goes on. Every decision he makes him a slightly worse person, and then the way that he treats Harriet is just awful, so straight into red flag. Next, I'm going to talk about Frank Churchill, and I think Frank Churchill, okay, I have two different opinions of Frank Churchill. How Frank Churchill functions in the book is fascinating, and I really enjoy it, and I really love the parallels and the things he draws out of different characters, but how he is as a person, I would say at least he's rich. I think he does have some really great green flags, a couple of red flags as well. Again, he's just trying to make his way in the world. He makes some really good decisions. He makes some really bad decisions. He makes some really shallow decisions. But on the whole, I think he is a good man. He's also very rich, so he gets to go into the middle category. And of course I have to talk about Mr. Knightley. Mr. Knightley goes straight into the swoon category. If I loved you less, I might be able to talk about it more. I literally have that on a print, like a framed piece of artwork, because I love it so much. I think it's such a beautiful and true sentiment. And Mr. Knightley the things Mr. Knightley is willing to sacrifice for Emma are basically unheard of in that time period, which, you know, he is a romantic through and through when you get down to it. I have to say though, and this is the little asterisk, is my vision of Emma is very much shaped by the 2020 film. And I think every adaptation of Emma has very much shied away from the age gap. And I feel like myself think too long about that. That does give me the ick. But that aside, straight into the top category. So now we're moving on to Northanger Abbey, which was written before any of the other books, but published after. And there's only really a couple of love interests in this one. First, we have Mr. Tilney. Mr. Tilney is a massive, great big walking green flag. He's so lovely. He knows muslin. He knows muslin. He's just a lovely man who really understands Catherine and is very sort of gracious and understanding to everyone around him. He's a big old green flag right there. John Thorpe, on the other hand, I don't think he's my least favourite Jane Austen character, but he's the one that like grates on me the most. If he lived today, he'd drive a Tesla. You know, that's who he is. Straight into red flag. He's just the sort of guy, like, if a friend of mine started going out with him, I'd be like, oh no, I mean, like, I'm sure he's great. But like, you know, have you tried just being single for a while? You know, that's what I would say if a friend of mine started dating someone like John Thorpe. And now we move on to Jane Austen's final completed novel, Persuasion. I was just going through my list and realising I have no red flag men for this novel. It's the first one not to have a single red flag man. And I think it's because maybe the other women in this novel are so awful. I don't know. But we'll start with Mr. Elliot. He's her cousin. That does make life a lot easier when ranking him. Just go straight into the cousin category. And then on the other end of the spectrum, half agony, half hope, is of course Captain Wentworth. His letter to Anne Elliot might be one of the most romantic things Jane Austen ever wrote. So of course he gets to go straight into the top category with Mr. Darcy and Mr. Knightley. And those are, I think, maybe there's more, all of the major love interests from Jane Austen's completed novels. I may have missed some people. Let me know if I have. And let me know if you agree with my ranking. Do you think everyone ended up where they should have? And give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to see some more videos. And I will see you next time. Ta-ra for now.